Hello.
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 So now that we've all introduced ourselves, let's get down to business.
To defeat the Huns?
Right. Okay.
Because Mulan is...
Oh my... Apparently that movie was not very good.
Yeah. Apparently they changed a lot of stuff, and it's not the same.
You know, there's something beautiful about being a small Twitch channel / YouTube channel to the point of like 10s tops, where it's like, it doesn't matter if we get demonetized. We can say the shit. They straight up thanked the like Uyghur Muslim concentration camp workers, like the province's like military and police authority in the region, in the end credits apparently.
Oof.
Oh.
For the live action Mulan.
Oof.
Like,
ooh, fuck. Oh. No, I hate that's bad. And like, fuck.
but hey, I understand that the US wouldn't be bothered by that when they're distributing their movies, because what do you know? They have camps too. We just apparently have been forgetting about them for the past several years.
Oof.
Like,
Nice.
Man.
Love that.
That is so
I thought this bit would be a lot funnier when I brought it up. I thought it would be like a fun, haha, Mulan, Disney, but no, shit, that's like legit bad.
No, there's other stuff that's wrong too.
yeah.
Oh yeah, no, like the editing, and there's a phoenix.
They made Chi a
And a
thing.
witch.
Apparently,
Oh, yeah!
you can only be a superpowered warrior if you use your Chi energy, and you have to be born with Chi energy. Fuck the whole message that literally anyone could be a brave warrior. Is no, you have to be born with Chi energy. Otherwise, you're just weak as shit.
So they changed the message of ordinary girl goes out and
she is not ordinary. Things. I call bullshit that she is ordinary.
No,
they go very far out of her way in the beginning to set up the fact that she is not ordinary.
It's the Ratatouille story. A rat who has Chi energy and wants to cook.
Ratatouille, who is one with the Chi.
The sad
thing is spirit unto Remy, the creator of the soups.
Yeah. The sad thing is I could see that being a thing where like he taps into the Chi energy when tasting food.
Ken, have you seen this movie already?
Mulan? No, unfortunately I haven't, because I'm not paying Disney money to see it on Disney Plus.
No.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I will reserve judgment until it comes out, but yeah, bad opinions are bad opinions.
Not the thing is, I had my mind made up when they first announced it.
Fair.
I'm not a good person. The streaming services have they've kind of atomized themselves to the point where they're like, it serves a different niche. Like Netflix it's kind of the direct competitor to Amazon, and both of them have schlock but also good things. And then Disney Plus is like kids movies and all the Marvel, Star Wars, everything worth money is there. The crowd pleasers. Mm-hmm. And then this is just my own gripe. In Canada, we don't get to have HBO. There's an HBO Canada, which you can't get HBO Go for. You have to get Crave TV to get HBO shows.
Yep.
Huh.
Which is so
not
frustrating.
Not only do you have to get Crave TV, you have to get Crave TV plus the HBO package.
Yep. And you know what's good on Crave?
Letterkenny.
I didn't know Letterkenny was on Crave. I retract my statement. Hard retract. Watch Letterkenny. Subscribe to Crave. Watch Letterkenny.
Yeah. Letterkenny is literally the only thing I subscribe to Crave for. That and it had Doctor Who. I think it still has Doctor Who.
I feel like Doctor Who is one of those licenses that they could just dangle like a cat toy in front of the 30-year-old nerds who are still their 19-year-old selves kind of stuck in the super Hulock phase going but the new season is on this streaming platform. I have to subscribe.
Yeah, I have to watch it because I am a fan.
The problem with Doctor Who is they finally made the Ding Dong Doctor a woman, but everyone hates that one. And I'm pretty sure because it's bad, but I'm a little worried that maybe
Maybe
I feel like they made the
Yeah.
like they didn't make the decision to be revolutionary. I feel like they made the decision because they were like, well, we aren't in our golden days anymore, so we can get away with it.
The trouble,
Which is just
the trouble with it
so
is
dissatisfying.
I haven't been able to watch the latest season because Canada gets everything last. We are not considered for anything.
Mhm.
We can't even watch John Oliver episodes when they come out on YouTube. They're country
right?
restricted.
So it's one of
Sponsored
those.
by ExpressVPN.
Hey NordVPN, ExpressVPN, pay us. We definitely have a subscriber base.
Yeah, totally. I would vouch for the VPNs if they just gave me a free subscription to it. That would be fine. But like,
Yeah.
the trouble with the latest Doctor Who is that the writer left, like the head writer that really brought Doctor Who into the golden age, left. And then also they were changing up the Doctor to be, but there's women in my Doctor. And so it kind of got this bad air right from the get-go, combined with a lackluster writing scene, like really, really lackluster. They have done away with, like, they don't bother referencing old Doctor Who all that often. They really don't.
Who left? Was it Moffat who
It was
left? Was
Moffat.
it?
Yeah.
Because before him, there was the other writer that was, like, not better than him in the moment, but better than him in hindsight. The other guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
God, what was the guy's name?
I can't remember. But he left with
Oliver-
Eccleston, didn't he?
No, he was in with Tennant for a while. Like a lot of the
He
early
was basically
Tennant,
there
and
at
then
the same time that Billy Piper was in. So
Yeah.
that probably makes sense.
well, I don't want to Google anything on stream, so I have a clipboard. If we want to fucking,
Let's fucking go.
Yeah.
let's
Take us out of this Doctor Who tangent. Punch the button on the TARDIS. that
Will,
makes the
would you
TARDIS
say
go.
that the Doctor is a celestial? Because he just drains the life from everyone around him to constantly regenerate.
Would you say that when the Doctor regenerates, he becomes a virgin again?
No, see, I asked a legitimate question that could be brought up in a game. You just... God damn it, game.
What happens in the hidden places, the alleys and back courtyards? And that's why I make it so the first line of every single clipboard is always a, oh god damn it, let's just do this already. Every time. Okay. So what happens in the hidden places, the alleys and back courtyards, the valley without watchtowers? In the beckoning wild sea, the SS Bilgewater could not be more hidden. A day's preparations provided paint cannonballs, a team of riders, a team of sailors, and an unknown pursuer. 3 foes for a training exercise. The mail carriers are unlikely warriors, but then again, leaving valuable cargo through hidden places. Apparently I'm stumbling through half of my words right now. The thief has to fence stolen goods, offload the pocket watch, melt down the silverware, but mail isn't treasure with clear and liquid value. Most of it is worthless, priced low even for the senders and the recipients. Some is ruthlessly valuable, bait for snakes. Some is priceless, but only once destroyed. And to you, the carrier, they're all going to be numbered boxes. Welcome to Bloodwine.
The game was rigged from the start, kid. I can reference New Vegas stuff now.
Yeah!
Yeah,
The game
the
is from the
references.
start. Bang! And then there's a big dot of paint on his forehead, and he's like, ah, beans, I'm out.
Yeah, thick old plug. This channel. On Saturday, we're going to be starting Lonesome Road. Not the last of the DLCs. There's 2 DLCs that we just aren't doing for the sake of but we're going to be doing Lonesome Road, New Vegas.
Nice.
All right.
Nice.
Nice.
So,
Oh,
we skipped a week for out-of-game reasons. Where were we when last we met?
I believe they were telling Sun to make a bunch of paintball rounds. And they were basically showing us that we can't go by land because there's a cavalry chasing us, and going by sea, there's going to be a ship chasing us, and just in general, everything is going to be chasing us. I'm pretty sure by air we have crows just constantly going to be pecking at us.
Yeah, I feel like a paintball would be pretty lethal to a crow, though. Like, they got little bones.
Yeah, they do have little
They
bones.
do have little bones.
That's my
Right.
scientific opinion.
Paintball fight.
People fight me. But no, I think they were prepping for us to leave. I don't know if we get any prep time in this shit or if it's just go.
All right. I'll say I'll abstract the prep time so we can say if there's anything you really want to have done for prep, but otherwise I'll say like you have exactly 20 paint cannonballs that you've crafted. It didn't cost you any resources because they gave you the resources you needed for your own job interview.
Oh.
And it's now dawn the next morning.
I probably also would have made some paint-tipped crossbow bolts and some paint-tipped slugs for...
Well, no, we don't actually want to kill anybody, is the thing.
That's why they're paint-tipped.
Yeah, because the arrow doesn't do anything. It's all the head.
Yeah! If it's a big... They make arrows specifically for this. A big foam thing on the front.
Yeah.
Oh, are you putting a big foam thing on
Yeah!
there? Okay.
Man, yeah, a cannonball hits a ship, it's just gonna burst into paint. But if I put an arrow in paint,
Well, what I thought you meant is I'm gonna take an arrow
Yeah,
and
like,
I'm gonna dip the head in paint.
why would that be what I meant?
I don't know.
A paint,
Well,
I guess. A paint tipped
for
arrow.
every-
Yeah.
I will say that for every cannon, you can take away one cannonball for exactly 5 pieces of prepped ammunition. So make
Okay.
sure to get those exact numbers because you are the munitions guy on the ship and you're the one who would have the numbers.
Do you?
Okay.
Do we want to sacrifice cannonballs for arrows?
Yeah, I'll give you 5 shots, me 5 shots. We still have 8 cannonballs left.
Okay. Sure.
And then
Are we trying to
It should
take
be
out the
18.
ship?
I thought I said 20 cannonballs. If I said something that wasn't 20,
Oh.
the number should be 20.
okay, I thought you said 10. So all right, well in that case, okay.
So So what are we having to do? Do we have to take down their ship, or?
You have to get your mail to the destination. Your mail being the interviewer who's a dude in a bunch of like dark robes with a little pale bird mask who said, "Suppose I'm a package."
Okay.
It's me, a package.
hello. How are you? I am a package.
Hello.
For sake of argument, let's assume I'm a package.
Sorry.
Are you okay?
Wait, gut instinct, you know.
Okay.
All right. So it's now dawn. You guys have made yesterday's preparations, and you're getting ready to go. Because of the fact that you're still docked, your interviewer and the associate people stayed in town, but presumably you guys were on your ship. You weren't bothered through the night or anything like that. Your interviewers come back to the docks, is now at the end of the pier, waiting to come back on so you can start your expedition.
Well, all right then.
Let's get going.
Let's get going.
All right,
you
so
draw the short straw to be the package, or
What?
quietly, sort of almost distractedly ignoring, deliberately ignoring your joke, the rooker comes on, your interviewer, and just kind of goes, "So where do you put your package?"
In the cargo hold.
yeah, down in the hold, safest place.
Yeah, I bring her down to where we usually have cargo.
All right, so you go down and then sort of looks around and goes, "Okay, I'm a person, so I'm going to wander around and see how things are going, but your package is in the hold."
Okay.
I mean, yeah, sure. No, logistically, that makes sense.
So you guys come back up. It's like the early morning, the sun's rising. All the processing happens when you're coming into port. When you leave, they don't really care. So you guys can kind of just head out whenever.
All right.
Well,
We should probably.
down the waste.
Let's get going.
All right. Do you want to pull up the map?
Okay.
What's the map? We should probably get those cannonballs like ready to go.
Oh, they're
Yeah.
they're going. They're primed. They're ready.
They're primed and ready.
Oh yeah.
Do I have those paint arrows?
Yeah. You have 5.
I've got 5.
I have 5 paint slugs.
Oh,
Okay, where are we
Will,
going?
we forgot to fix an issue. The map was cut off, if you remember correctly.
Oh yeah.
Ah, right.
We forgot to fix that. Also, my map appears to not be updating because my Stream Deck appears to be a piece of shit.
Oh, we're having a great time.
Yeah, we're having a great time. It's okay. We'll be fine. I can do
I'm
things.
gonna milk the description for a little while.
All
Just
right.
really roll around some dice and look at numbers. That works.
Working.
I was hoping he would get to doing the milking motion. So I could just...
Oh gosh, that's
No.
So the wind is moving, like sort of a mid-speed, like northeasterly. Based on where you are, you're in Westwatch. You're still, strictly speaking, in the middle of the map as the viewers would see it. And you're basically trying to hook. The map is supposed to be 10 by 10, and so kind of at 9,9 is where White Abbey would be. So do you see in like our overlay how there's like wooden boards and there's a point where like the board intersects going downward?
which corner is 0, 0?
This would be 0, 0.
Yep.
Oh, I
So
see.
you know how there's
That's
there's the frame that surrounds the map, and then right next to that there's like the actual boards that make up the background itself.
Yeah.
And then if you go to the like sort of down a little to square out the corner for like 9,9, that'll be where White Abbey's going to be.
Yeah.
We don't need to worry about fixing the map. You're just going there, and it's like it's a point. I can role play you going around a point.
Okay.
So like maybe another like square's worth to the right.
Okay, so you basically want me to do something like this.
Oh, this is scary. He's got.
Oh, he's got the.
I've got code up. I've got the
got code on screen.
code.
I have no idea if that's even visible for the viewers. We've just got like
I don't think
windows
that
dragged
actually
over
is.
things and terminal windows being
not.
popped open. Go,
It's-
no, we're
it's
fixing
not.
this.
Oh man.
It's not. Okay,
It's like the
so it would
Matrix.
be like somewhere around here. This is where we're traveling.
Precisely. There we are.
Because that's
Flawless.
not working. I need to
Perfectly
look into why
executed.
my Stream Deck isn't working. I'm going to close it up now because it saddens me.
Okay.
All right, so there's that like sharp northeasterly wind. It suits you for coming out of port, but it isn't ideal because you're going to be going almost directly against it going southward down the coast. You make decent progress. You make it almost a square's worth of distance from dawn to the early morning. You see, as you're sort of like leaving the bay, that someone on watch is starting to rouse the other ship, but the fact that you got up so early leaves them kind of in the dust, like going, oh shit, like bring up the game, like unmoor these ropes, like get the sails tied up, like you've got minutes on them, precious minutes that you're easily able to exploit.
Haha. See, that's why you don't fuck with the courier service. Hey.
So as you're sort of like leaving the bay, you're at like full sail, you're tacking against it, but almost immediately you have to go nice and narrow as you go southward. Around here, it's like really sharp, worn down, like limestone crags that the rest of the hills sit on top of. And so there's lots of places to weave in and out, which you guys as perfectly legal merchants are used to kind of navigating, and very quickly you're able to get distance and lose sight.
Perfect.
Awesome. In that case,
wow.
I'm gonna send Warbles to do a little bit of scouting. Since we know that we have people on our tail, he is going to do very short distance scouting, just like a quick loop and come back.
Okay.
Good call. Good call.
Want to give me the appropriate roll and tell me which one the appropriate roll is?
Yes, because I upgraded my Grove, which I think is the animal. I meant to upgrade the animal one. So it's whatever one's the animal one is the one I upgraded.
Henge.
Fuck.
Did you remember Hengewig?
Sorry, no. Grove is the one. That's my mistake. It is Grove.
Uh-huh.
Let's remember Grovewig.
The problem is I've rewritten and refined the lore to this like 16 times. And my brain is still stuck, like, midway on number 1 of 16, midway on number, like, 7 of 16, 8 of 16. I don't even know my own lore at this point.
Yeah. I rolled a 17.
17? So, yeah, you, at this point, you're not necessarily, like, trying to get the pings the way you normally do with magic. You're a little bit more relaxed. You're kind of trusting Warbles a little bit more on this one. You said Warbles is a crow, right? Not a raven?
Sure, we can solidify it as crow. I don't think I ever solidified it as an animal, like whether it was a crow or a raven.
Do you want to belay that a little while, have a little bit of suspension of disbelief, or do you want to solidify the animal?
Crow.
So yeah, you feel like about a chicken sandwich's worth of heft leave your arm as with a little bit of a poof, like a kick, as Warbles flies off. You don't really feel anything for a little while. You've got a bit of distance, and you know that Warbles is staying close. There's not a lot of seabirds. The area around here isn't being dominated by anything. You don't see any colors.
All right. No ships dead
And
ahead.
that's what you got. I think you're a little bit further than you should have been. You only should have been about 1 square's worth of distance in the early morning there.
Oh, sorry. I thought we did more. I thought we did another distance roll.
So it's now the early morning, and the wind has shifted a little bit. It's now going dead north. You're having to tack back and forth, sort of going like a 45 to a 45 to a 45, switching the sails to actually make headway.
Well, how much further till we get to our destination?
We just started.
Right, but I mean, hours, days. I'm not too good at those maps.
Probably by the end of the day, maybe. Tomorrow.
Yeah, a little bit
So
tomorrow.
With the terrain and the wind both sort of working against you, you only make it about a half square southward. By now, the early morning is getting closer to the late morning. You can see, based on where you are, it's populated here in the provincial areas. You pass through a few places of wilderness, but near the edge of the coast, you can see that there's farmers getting up, starting to work in their fields. By the time you hit this point here, they've been working out there a little while. Every farm you see is busy, full of farmhands moving up and down, moving like animals around, taking care of crops. You can also see that there's some fishing boats that are coming to and fro.
Stay clear of those boats. They had a warning about an unknown element to this. Can't trust nobody.
The Kraken, I think.
I meant more, some sort of spy or elemental mage masquerading, but
Masquerading as a fishing boat?
Oh,
well, fisherman on a fishing
we have
boat.
a green screen.
We got green screen.
Oh,
There we go.
beans. Oh, there we go.
Ah, beans.
It's okay. It's fine. It's recovered. I mean, if
You will get
if they really
distracted for a
wanted
brief
to get
moment
on,
as you
if they really wanted
You get
to
distracted
be
for a brief
unexpected-
moment as you start to reel in the sails and get adjusted to the wind. It switches to being more like southeasterly. It starts to work in your favor, and you're starting to move forward a decent bit as you get closer to noon.
If I wanted to introduce an unexpected element in this, I would have more advanced ships that are just scrying on our package.
Wait, you do the, can you stop that?
I mean,
I'm not able to.
it might be a little late, but I can see what I can prep. He'd have to stand in one spot.
I mean the package.
The package itself.
The package itself.
He is the package.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, well.
Well, how can you do the ship?
Could I do the ship? Or could I do specifically the hull of the ship? Because he said he was going to move around, but is he staying in the hull?
It's kind of one of those things where magic follows more dream logic than real logic. It's kind of maritime rules. If you're warding something, you're warding the ship with a capital T and a capital S. If he's on the ship, which if he falls overboard, the ward would fail. That's the kind of situation. Whether you're up in the mast, climbing the ribbing, like going halfway down, but like off the edge of the boat to go and get a pail full of seawater, like you're still on the ship.
Okay, well, I'll just go down and set a ward for Scry.
All right.
I'll do that.
So you're comfortable with this here. You don't get really afraid of heights because they kind of don't mean anything to you. You go from the crow's nest where Warbles likes to meet you, and you start moving southward. By now, not southward, downward on the mast. By now, Warbles has come back again, sort of just short range scouting, and you're starting to clamber your way down. You just feel leg, strong.
Oh god, we lost Gabe.
Oh, we lost Gabe.
I know when we lose Gabe. I hate that that's a thing. Discord needs to fix that. Discord on mobile is terrible, and we need to fix that.
We need to figure out like another way to do this.
We need to de-jankify.
I know.
It worked when we weren't in a pandemic and we were just at a table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then suddenly a whole virus had to happen.
There we go.
There we go. Okay.
So you're going down, you go leg, solid deck, and you know you're there. At this point, you're sort of like, you're around, you feel the ebb and flow of the ship, you sort of like hang on to the mast, and you start muttering incantations as you sort of like move around. Even though everyone else would see you sort of like kind of just twirling around the mast, this is sort of where you're casting. Do you want to roll ritual?
Sure. All right, so that's that is a 16.
All right. How do you cast your rituals here when you're boarding the boat? There's a lot of different ways to magic.
It's less of a drawing. I don't really rely on drawing. It's more of placing things in a place. Like, a lot of it is just sort of like, a lot of ritual, like what Crowquill found was just going through the motions, and a lot of it is very much the incantation said and like the actions actually performed rather than like what's actually drawn. Like, drawing is a focus, but if I'm not, it's hard to focus on something when I can't actually see what I'm drawing. So,
all right, so you see Crowquill kind of like around the edge of the mast, like on the deck of the ship. You're sort of like, when you're looking around in the dark without the lights on, and you tap a wall to make sure you know where you are in your apartment. Like, it's that kind of thing. Like, you're holding onto the mast just so you have an anchor near the middle of the ship, but you're gesturing, sort of slashing. You go into your pocket, you take out a couple of feathers, you're muttering to yourself, and there's kind of an air that starts to pervade the ship. You said it was a 17?
16.
16. You feel somewhat confident in this ward. What's everyone else doing while you're sailing along? What's the dynamic like on the ship? You guys have 4 crewmates. You have one, suppose the interviewer's a package, and there's 3 of you. Crowquill's doing all this stuff near the base of the mast.
I'm doing general ship stuff. You know, masts, ropes, keeping an eye out, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm 100% keeping an eye out.
So there's a few times, Jane, where you're sort of like, you have to wait, and you dodge a feather that catches the wind and almost hits you in the face, and then you wait till Crowquill passes. You move up deck, you slack rope. You let it sort of loosen up. You tie something down a little. Meanwhile, like close to the head of the ship, because Crowquills come down the mast, like briefly you squeeze past Sun and you clamber up. You get a nice, good view out into the distance, and you can see. You don't see any ships, but you recognize this landmass. Give me some kind of knowledge roll, some kind of something to work with.
Me? I need dice.
Gabe with Blazing Sun.
Oh, Blazing Sun needs to give you a knowledge roll.
Okay.
I want a spice rack of dice.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that every single time I go there because I always get jealous. I want a spice rack of dice.
It's quite a sight. They're all organized. They're sorted by color. They're in little tubes.
The tubes are very fun. All right. You want a knowledge roll? The only knowledge I have is in munitions. I could give you literally any other roll, and that would be a single die.
No, give me munitions. Genuinely give me munitions.
Okay, that is a 14.
14. You ever meet like an artillery guy, like a tank guy?
Sure, yeah.
Like the sort of person who could talk to you for 6 hours as to the exact specifications of how you load and fire a Sherman tank and think that they're interesting the entire way through the conversation. You've had like 16.
I've gone to a military museum with one such person. That was a trip.
That genuinely actually sounds delightful.
It was!
It sounds like it would be an enlightening experience.
My sister worked at a military museum. She doesn't like it.
So you see up ahead, or you know that up ahead around these crags, there's a fort. You're forgetting the name exactly, but it's like one of there's infinite numbers of these forts kind of thing, just up and down the coast. This one, has a few cannons that are a little bit outdated, but you remember back 16 years ago, they outfitted them with brand new blah, blah, blah. So you need to stay a good 100, 150 knots away from, sorry, not knots, I'm trying to think of a unit of measurement. You have to be a decent ways away from the coast. You measure it out and you communicate it to them. You can still see it as you get closer, this big, almost spear sticking out of the edge of the limestone. It's built in the same stone as the nearby crags itself. So there's a few farms, there's things that keep, so there's a village nearby. You can see it's all pastures and fields and greenery, and then this big white spike. And then suddenly you notice, because you're looking out from the crow's nest, there's a couple of dark figures. You think you see some flags, a crow's nest sticking out of the water up ahead.
Hey, Gananye, you seeing this?
You look back down and you look at Ken and Ye, who's sitting there at the edge of the the wheel, sort of driving the ship. He goes, "I don't. No, what do you see?"
Looks like a ship, maybe sinking. Can I tell from here if it seems to be changing position at all? Is it bobbing? Is it floating? Is it sinking?
Now that you're getting closer, you give directions. It's at 2 o'clock from here. You change course slightly. Yeah, there's a couple of figures. Your interviewer comes up and goes, "Oh, wait, no, fuck, this is not a drill. We need to get them. This is a problem." Before too long, you're still moving pretty quick because you're performing. You're getting good distance. You slacken up your sails. You slow up. You have to circle around to bleed off a bit of excess speed, and you see that right as this, the tip of the crow's nest is sinking beneath the water, there's a couple of darker figures in white crow's masks. They look, they see the interviewer, and they start swimming towards you. He turns to you and goes, I'm sorry, this was Unit 3. The shit? There's 4 of them, people coming on your boat. What are you doing to deal with this situation?
Throw down a ladder or...
Oh, I'm 100%. I'm like, I feel like most ships would have sort of rigging or something along the side, like ropes, just kind of around. I'm 100% securing a rope and actually climbing down there myself to see if I can help people climb up. Like,
yep. So a ship like this, like literally any modern boat, but especially a sailboat, there's like points where you could rig things up or stick a boat like along the edge. So right near the edge, there's an actual like fixture downward ladder. You anchor yourself a nice rope. You get yourself fixed and you clamber down. You're able to swim out a little bit. You catch onto people. Your boat still has some speed. It's bleeding it off a little bit as you circle. You get one person onto the ladder and they clamber on. In your second pass, you've slowed down enough that the other 3 start to get ahead, and then you get back onto the boat.
I want to Omen Watcher this, Will. How do I feel about these people in regards to like our safety and the safety of the package?
I'm going to give you a rephrase.
A rephrase?
Rephrase that. Just rephrase it.
How do I feel about letting these people on our ship?
Okay, give me one more rephrase of that.
Do you want me to go...
I don't know how to explain how much of a bind you're putting me in.
Okay, do you want me to go vaguer or more specific?
Vaguer.
Okay. How do I feel about these people? Just keep taking words off.
Okay, you know what? I'm just going to stop it. You have a bad feeling about the situation, not about the people.
Okay.
You have a very bad feeling about the situation. The situation is not related to the people. They need help.
Okay.
Okay.
In that case, I'm having Warbles be like scout for any other ship, or like, is there something going on the opposite side of us?
Yeah, like, okay, so I'm gonna to the
like
first
behind you.
Well, like, cause we're focused on them, right? Like, we're focused on getting these people, and so my thought is someone from behind, like something like that, trying to come from a different angle.
All right.
So
Well,
I'm just basically whatever direction they're in. I want Warble scouting both like the hull of our ship and like onwards from the opposite side.
Would it make sense to send him ahead of us? Because we've already been behind us. They haven't passed us, I don't think.
But
right?
I thought it was like to our one side, not directly in front of us.
Well,
or is it directly in front of us?
We came up to them and circled around them.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, I would say basic scouting, much tighter formation.
Okay. Yeah, the first person that comes on the ship, I'm gonna like make sure they're okay. Number one. Number two, ask them like, well, how did your ship go down?
All right. So basically, as this goes down, so Sun, you just got up from the edge of the ship. You start shaking your shit off. You're looking side to side. You're like checking the edge of the ship. You don't see anything in terms of physical damage to your own. You don't see anybody coming off the horizon. You mutter to Warbles, and Warble starts flying off. And before, like, you're still getting kind of that sense that Warbles is still flying and looking in this moment. So, Jane, you're talking, and you go like, "Hey, what happened?" And they start filling in the details. They go, "We were passing through. There weren't any other ships in the area. There weren't any. I think that because there were no witnesses, they tried to the fort over the bay. You guys are. I think you're out of range because we sank a little while, but they shot at us. The fort shot at us.
Was there anyone else on the ship?
Everyone's here. It was just for the training run, so we didn't have any cargo. We just lost the boat, but they shot at us. The fort. Can you believe that?
Hmm.
It's weird. You didn't have Did you have flags on your ship at all?
I mean, we're rookery ships. We put the rookery sails up, the ones with the mask on them.
That's really weird.
I'm calling Warbles back in. If they say it's the port and not another ship, then I'm okay with that. You're
about to call Warbles back in, and right at the same time, Sun, you look off the back of the ship because you see Kenini's eyes aren't perfect. He's kind of like gazing off. By the time you're on the other end of the ship, you look and you see the other rookery ship is coming down the bay, coming towards you guys, as if it's the training exercise. Right as that happens, you get a bad feeling. You get colors. Croquill gets colors. There's colors coming.
Enemies approaching.
Oh, hell. Do a mayday symbol.
Come back, Warbles. Warbles, come back.
I'm talking to Croquill. Wait.
We need to warn the other ship
if
they're after rookery.
In the lore,
mm-hmm.
I feel like there has to be a universal mayday symbol, like white sparks in the air or something that a mage can do quickly. Is there something like that that Croquill could do as like a help we're sinking?
A flare?
Sort of thing. A flare, yeah, like a flare. Trying to signal to them. Do we have any trying to signal to them that, oh God, we're sinking, we need help?
Why would you do that?
Because this isn't an exercise anymore.
Basically this is not a drill anymore kind of thing, like shit's gone down.
Yeah, like trying to explain, this isn't a drill, your ship got wrecked, it's going to take too long, but oh fuck, our ship's on fire. Help is easy to communicate. Like,
I mean, in modern times, you could communicate that with flags.
That would be the flare.
Like, realistically, our package could just send a bird with the information as well.
Did they bring a bird?
That's just them talking to me. I don't have those powers, man.
Okay.
Okay.
At this point, the other ship starts to get really, really close, and you can see it sort of like turning a little bit, not like getting ready to hit you or anything, but like getting ready to get into an attack position. You don't have much time.
Can you grab me, Ruger? Can you go get me a bed sheet real quick?
You, like, very muffled from, like, below decks, you hear, what? And then you hear Kenini shouting over top of you trying to talk. He goes, someone needs to take the wheel! I think we're gonna have to paintball this!
I take the wheel.
Oh, I was just going surrender, but,
No, why would we surrender?
okay, I'll go man the cannons. And I trot down after Canyon Yang.
All right, so Jane, you run up. Kenini passes you the kind of awkward, like standing to the side, holding onto them as he gets up. He secures his crutches and starts to go down below decks. You then kick his, like, he sits on a, like, sort of just a crate most of the time so that he isn't on his prosthetics. You just kind of bump it out of the way a little bit and you're there and you take control of the helm. Meanwhile, Kenini runs past. He unlatches the hatch. He leaves it open for you, and then he scrambles forward and he waits for you, Sun, to get to the munitions room.
All right, what do we want to hit him with first?
So you crack open the door. He moves past. There's a door past there that he moves into, and there's almost like a little ladder. There's a big steamy looking hatch. There's a crank. He opens it, and you see him get into like a seat under there. This isn't like a normal cannon bay. He's got like an assembly in here.
I love it.
All right then. Ooh. I go get some of those paint cannonballs, and I'm assuming I understand how this whole contraption works. Like however loading it works, I start loading.
Let me give you an introduction. This is not just a masterwork. It is not just a very finely made piece of machinery. This is an artifice. It's something that you and Kennedy work on together. There's like mechanical pieces. The cannons are technically just cannons. You have a munitions feed and stuff like that. But there's a mechanical, basically, engine that runs its thing. That's the Kennedy apparatus. It's his kind of creation. It's not entirely physical. There's a bit of magic to it. Strictly speaking, this is just a mechanical contraption, but it's hungry, and sometimes it tells you. You're going to the munitions room, and like you go to open the like cannon barrel or like the container that you put all the paintballs in, and like right as you get there, there's like a fizz, a pop, a pang, and you see all of the, without you touching them, all of like the cannon feeder lines open up, and then the top of the barrel just kind of poof pops off.
You're gonna use the paintballs against the guys that just took down a ship?
We didn't. No, because the fort fired. This is the other rookery ship.
Oh, this is the other rookery ship. I see. Okay.
Yep, I start loading cannonballs into the feed. Watching my fingers though. Goodness gracious! Don't let those things get anywhere near the internals of this thing.
So
I was picturing this having like an ammunition loader that's basically like a bowling alley. You know, the bowling alley bowling pins.
That's
just
I was gonna say it's exactly that. There's the door and then two of these on either side. So you go in and it's like a bowling alley thing, but the balls go in instead of coming to you. You go punk, and then it starts to roll down. You hear the clunk as it starts to load in each one. Paintball. Other side of the door, paintball. You're looking around, you hear these things, you're used to it, they're clinging down properly, everything's good. They start to load, you see this thing, like it goes down through tubing, there's a clunk clunk, and then it feeds into each of the cannons. Only one of the two, you see it's like prepped on the other ones, and it's just ready. Kennedy is just there, and he's kind of like dazed, just holding on to the controls, like he's waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Now this is, I've seen Kennedy use this thing before. That's his normal stance when he's using this, right? This isn't like some sort of magical thrall.
Both. He is normally in a magical thrall.
I understand. Okay.
So, meanwhile, above decks, there's people moving back and forth. Rooker like pops his head over decks and goes, "Son?" He looks around. Shit. Clonks it down, then he goes back down and he goes, "Son, what did you want?" Didn't hear you when you were talking before.
Oh, I wanted to surrender, but looks like all this isn't happening.
We're still on a job interview.
Well, I guess technically we're in the job interview. Hey, you want to go defend the Rooker man with your life?
I guess. And he wanders off and goes back above decks. And he goes, in case there is situation, Birdman, come inside! And he beckons the guy in, and you see the Rooker kind of just go down. There's all kinds of politics going up and down the ladder as it's like, Rooker goes up, he's holding on, and then Bilgy waits, he taps his foot, he's waiting, Rooker comes down, Bilgy goes, then Rooker stops it, and the Rooker comes down, you see Bilgy ready to have an aneurysm, and then the Rooker's down the ladder, and then Bilgy goes, shit, and he clambers above. As this happens, you guys are starting to turn about as the thing's getting close, ready for this opening salvo. Jane, you're at the wheel. We have Croquill. Where's Croquill?
Croquill is by the mast, because they should be using, like, paint stuff, and I'm not expecting something like a chain shot. So I'm fine to be on deck and by the mast. And it's also something to steady myself for the waves.
Yeah. You're in the middle of the ship. It's a good place to be for communication. Tiana's gone up to the front of the ship to man like the sort of foremast. Bilgy has come up. He's sort of gone towards the main mast, and then Jane's in the back. You're starting to turn. You see that the ship has opened one of its sides, and it's got the angle on you a little before you do. how do you want to behave?
Will, what did we decide before for magic in this? Was it just meant to be pain? Or, like, what? Like, as to applicable magic that we can use in this thing that is equivalent to paintballs?
I'll say that you're similarly, like, for each cannonball you sacrifice, you have a bucket with, like, 5 basically magical beanbags. Like, it's genuinely just like a water balloon with paint. Okay. You can't safely throw magic in this fight.
Yeah, alright.
Strictly speaking, like, it's one of those things, like an airbending, earthbending thing where you can still, like, throw and use your skills, but flavor-wise, you're throwing paint, like, balloons.
In which case, I am just going to do a little hex on their first salvo. Because I have the hexer benefit, and I would like for them to roll terrible.
Alright, so you hear the people on the ship, you hear Jane go, "Get ready!" And then you're almost feeling a tension, and then Bilgy, he sees you and he goes, "Now," and you snap, and there's a crack, crack, and these things just go wide. As this thing, the Rooker's boat sort of turns and it misses its angle, you guys get into the angle on the port side.
Nice.
Well, give them out.
All right, fire.
That's fire where? Fire how?
At the ship.
Well, I mean, okay. How many guns does this thing have? This is like a 20-gun ship.
So your ship has 2 cannons on each side. They're all connected in the same apparatus.
Oh,
it's basically like anybody else. You would go like port cannon 1, port cannon 2, but this one it's all that plus like machine gun mode.
But also, how many shots did they fire? Like, do they also have 2 on each side? Okay.
They don't have the apparatus or anything. They didn't fucking.
They're not supporting Kenanye and Son.
Yeah, so it's just 2 pop, and then they're unable to hit based on their angle.
How accurate are our cannons?
Depends how well Kenanye tries.
Could we hit their mast? Bring their mast down?
Could we aim for the rudder? Do we have an angle on their rudder?
So the way that this ship is coming towards you, it hit its salvo. Currently you're aimed at sort of the center side of the hull, and before long you're going to get to the rudder. You have a moment to decide if you want to aim for the sails. If you do, you would just kind of like splatter them and then they would be a color.
I'm saying to aim for the rudder. Hold fire till we can see the rudder, perhaps.
Okay.
Not that paint's going to do much to a rudder, but
so you look.
They'll respect it.
So you're sort of going like, I feel, and then you look and you're like, hold on, and you look and Kennedy's just looking at you furious. There's like engine grease dripping from his eyes and mouth, and he goes, "When, where, how?"
I want to boon Kenanye. So using the Hexer benefit to improve Kenanye's shot.
All right, so you've been like in the middle. You've just been hearing people go. You go like, "They're coming to port." Like, ready? Are we aiming for the mast or the rudder? And then you hear like, "I don't know, maybe the rudder." And then you hear Kenny going, "Where, when, how?" from below decks.
And I just go, "He needs it. He wants it."
I'll say that you're making the call because your executive action. Ken. What is Crowquill saying?
I am going to say... I'm going to say rudder. And then I'm just going to I'm shouting... I basically just shout it at the top of my lungs. Just, rudder!
So you shout, rudder! And then right as this happens, Kenny pulls something. He reaches down. There's like a hiss. He opens a hatch. It's almost like there's handles and like levers just coming out of the woodwork of the machinery itself. You look and you see that this first cannon fires, and there's like a central mechanism around a post. It goes fire. The other one cocks. This one gets loaded, and then in counteraction, the other one is loading. It cocks. It fires, and so it goes boom, boom, like a pop, pop off the one side, loading the cannons as it does so, and it goes boom, shot on rudder, boom, shot on rudder.
Nice.
Ooh, good shot. I would like to look. Oh.
Sorry, go ahead.
Continue. I was just going to say that when after that volley, I want to take a look at the ammunition they fired at us that went wide. I want to see if I can tell if that was a paint shot or not.
You're below decks if you're in the munitions room.
Oh, okay. Never mind then. I will stay where I am.
All right, so 2 of these cannonballs have been fired. Another 2 have been led into the chamber. They're both on the one side. So, do you load more paintballs in?
I think I should go for the mast.
I am. So he already has 2 in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
on the other side.
I'm getting. Oh yeah, I am holding off on those 2 paintballs just yet because I have a feeling that they may not have fired actual paintballs. Like,
why? They think that we're still in the training session. Like it's still in the
unless it's not them on the ship.
Yeah, like that's
they have the masts.
They have the flag. Thing. They have the flag.
This isn't a conscious thing. This is a gut. A gut. What if?
I have the equivalent, which is why I hexed their first volley.
So you hold off. You don't load them quite yet. You're just kind of waiting on them, ready with this barrel here. Above decks, you guys are turning. You've hit them on the rudder. Both of you are out of angle, so you have to reposition. They notice that they've been hit on the rudder, so they start pretending, even though you just kind of painted it a washable red, you know? You can already see the paint itself fading, but now they're just kind of at a dull lilt, and they're mentioning, like, got it. They start loading up their own cannons again.
In that case, I put paintballs into it.
Okay.
All right, they passed you to port, and now you're facing away. You load in the 2 cannonballs, and now you're loaded on both sides. Which way you heading?
We're heading away. We should just try and see if we can get away. How's the wind going?
Let's see. As it stands, the wind was going nice and strong, sort of like a little bit more away from the coast, but otherwise generally southward. I'll say that right now you aren't in a good situation to get away, but like after 1 more volley, you'd be able to get some distance.
Yeah, well, 1 more volley, maybe we try to aim. I'm still saying mast. I think mast is good.
You have a crossbow.
Yeah, but we're like significant distance, and the crossbow isn't gonna. Like I'm saying, the main mast, like it's a big stick in the main mast. If you take that down, the mast will go down. They can't use it.
Well, me for what I'm saying load cannons. If they manage to turn around, great. We had it. Yeah, I'm saying full speed ahead. They can't turn.
Yeah. We can get some distance on them if we want.
Actually, no. They could. Hey, they probably have a way to repair the rudder pretty quick.
I mean, repair the rudder. It's covered in paint, so like.
Yeah, the rudder's fine.
Right. I'm just trying to think this through. I think because we're heading the opposite. Okay, if I'm right, we're heading in the opposite direction of where we want to be going, right?
Oh, I thought we were just heading in the opposite direction of them.
I'm using just dogfight relative rules. You guys are sailing about in front of this fort.
Okay. Then yeah, I'd say just keep going. Cannons at the ready.
Yeah. Well.
If they know what's good for them, they'll just keep moving.
We just figured out that like after 1 more volley, we could probably get a good distance. So why don't we do that and then, yeah, 1 more volley and then try to
Okay.
Keep going.
Yeah, sure. I'm just thinking, the way I have it pictured in my head, we'd have to turn around to hit them, right? Because the cannons sort of face sideways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we would have to turn to hit them.
Yeah. So if we just don't turn, we can move fast. Zips up.
Exactly.
So I'm saying, keep cannons at the ready, but fucking book it.
Yeah, that sounds good.
That's what is coming out of Sun's mouth at the top of his lungs.
Okay, but you're assuming our position.
Yeah.
Like, Will just told us that after one more volley, we'll be able to get distance.
Okay, zeroing in information. You guys debate about where you're going to be in your boat, and you start gaining some distance. At this point, you have a bit of indecision, and the other boat is now kind of a little ways away. It's had a chance to wobble itself back, and you're now like in even footing.
Okay, are we faced towards the direction? Like, are we faced south right now, or which direction?
I'll say both of your ships are facing like east and west, respectively.
Okay. Yeah. So fire on more volley. Turn 90 degrees. Keep going.
All right. I mean, you're the one with the wheel.
I'm the one with the wheel. So.
All right. So you make some calls. They adjust the sails, and you start turning southward again. You get the angle on them. They see you going, so they try to catch up. You get the crew to slack the sails a bit, and then you fire one more before lowering them down again. There's a boom, boom on the same side again. There's one that misses, and then one that hits not the mast, but the sail. It's enough, though, and you see them raise the sail that you hit. As that happens, though, Croquill, you feel genuinely like a peck to your cheek, like a pat, like a hard, like, ow, motherfucker kind of one. And there's going on.
What do you want, Morals?
I do love the little puppet.
I got it for a reason, and that was the exact reason.
So you look up and you see the fort hasn't done anything, but to the north of you, there's 3 ships that are coming towards you that have West March colors, so this nation's colors. There's no other boats within view.
I am going to go to the hull, like, basically open the door to the hull and just be like, are we worried about West March colors?
You don't need to go there. West March colors is probably bad.
This is bad. West March colors.
Best case scenario, they pull you over and grill you for a training exercise in open water.
I'm going to... hey, how about that surrender plan now, eh?
No,
yeah. No. This needs to be said to them. Worst case scenario, we get a reprimand from the government. That's the last thing that we, the smugglers, want. Worst case scenario, 3 ships against 2 that we're doing a training exercise.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say we surrender to the people who supposedly be, then we can come up and talk to them.
No. Why would we do that?
Well, so that we can talk to them and work this mess out. I mean,
they're West March. They just
surrender to
the training
exercise.
And get away from the West March.
But what about the West March ships?
We'll book it together.
Yeah, we want to avoid them like the fucking plague.
But we can see them, so clearly the West March ships can probably see us too, right?
So at this point, you're starting to see them solidly. You're all confirmed of their colors, but based on the angle and based on where you are, it's like you and then the enemy ship and the other one, and the West March ones, they're looking at you. They probably don't see them. You all navigate around. You're sort of getting ready. This thing's kind of like pretending to flounder around. It's still got some sails. It's still trying. The rudder's still wobbly, but it's kind of turning. It's almost like this ship is giving it one last go.
I want to surrender. I want to surrender. Take training exercise. Bigger issues here.
I don't want to surrender.
I'm trying to think of ways to tell them to turn around when we don't have communication, and I don't want them to I don't want to send Warbles over there and for them to, like, misconstrue the situation and attack Warbles. Like, that is not...
Right.
No.
Now, these people love crows. These people love their ravens.
Yeah, they love the birds.
Yeah, but that is not the point of this scenario.
Right. Well, yay or nay on surrendering?
I am yay on informing them of the presence behind them, and if they all of a sudden unfurl that front sail, we know they agree.
I mean, yes, okay. I agree with contacting them and being, like, explaining the situation. If we could write, like, a letter and send Warbles over.
That's what I don't want to do, though. That's what I don't want to do.
Yeah,
I don't want them to misconstrue the situation.
By the time you've written a message, you'll have lost or won this encounter, and the ships will be on you. You got to think of something.
I am grabbing a bed sheet. I'm grabbing a bed sheet, and I'm climbing to the mast, waving it.
I am going to fire a fire dart in the air that's meant to, like, just kind of basically almost like how we do the witchlight kind of thing, but, like, just meant to, like, while he is grabbing the bed sheet, presumably.
All right, so you go, you wait for a second. Bilgee's nearby, and he kind of, like, nudges your hand a little and goes, "You're good." And he taps you twice, and then you go, "Boom." You don't see it, but you feel it. You have the timing, and it's like, boom, crack, like a flare. As this happens, you hear the clambering, you hear, like, some climbing, and then the flip, as Sun gets close to the mast and starts waving this big bed sheet. The other boat sort of, like, looks around, and you see it unfurl the other sail and notice the ship behind it. It starts to move south. They're getting pretty close, though. You guys are able to maneuver south in time.
We're going south.
Okay.
Okay, now we can write out a message and communicate, I think. Now that we have a little bit of, like, actual time.
Yeah.
All right. Do you guys want to pull up the map as you're thinking of how to communicate?
I still think we should send Warbles. Warbles can even, like, drop a letter. You know, it doesn't need to land on the ship.
Well, sometimes people are attached to the text, you know?
I guess.
I am against sending Warbles over to the other ship.
Bilgey just kind of shrugs and goes, fuck it. And you see him, like, run full tilt like he's about to jump off the ship, and then he turns into a bright, like, pirate shoulder parrot for a second. He sails over. You see the other crew looking bemused as he nails, and you see him fuck up the landing and kind of slip, fall, and then he steadies himself and then starts explaining things.
I was gonna
he kind of, like, waits a second. You see him go, and then he does the same thing, runs into a bird, flies to yours, and then he sticks the nailing on the way back, and he goes, "Okay, got it that time. I got it that time."
For some reason, I thought he was only able to turn into a dog. I didn't know that he could turn into anything else.
Well, I was going to ask him if he knew a way to do the flag communication, but that works.
Oh, yeah, flag.
What'd they say?
Will?
Uh-oh.
Is Will frozen? Uh-oh.
It's frozen.
I think we have a frozen William. Yeah.
It's usually me.
Okay, can you message in the Discord saying, "Will you frozen?" Oh no, William, why?
Could you? What if this is an epic prank and he's practiced holding really still?
He's just the master of stealth.
Yeah.
Sneaky.
He's been doing this for years. I want to know if he's still going. Like,
yeah.
If he's just like, if he's still just doing his bit.
No, we've probably also frozen for him.
Yeah.
So he's
probably
figured it out.
Yeah.
I'm assuming, but if you can message.
I didn't know. I thought Doji for some reason was like the Harry Potter.
Yeah, sort of like an animagus type thing.
Yeah.
Hey, shout out to J.K. Rowling for not making Harry Potter an animagus. That was real clever of her.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
it
sure.
requires training.
Yeah.
And then Harry Potter is like a bad student. But
Yeah, that's why
I'm just saying a lesser author would be tempted to give their protagonist that power, you know?
Yeah.
I will. How's it
There
going?
will.
Hello. Back. I'm alive.
Back.
Okay, where were
we were asking
Bilgy had just
Bilgy
gotten
what
back.
was going on, yeah.
Yeah, and then I asked him what they had said to the message. And I don't know if you froze before or after I had said
It was definitely slightly before.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you ask, like, what did they say? He just looks at you and he goes, I said, fucking cops. And they said, ah, shit. And then I left.
I mean, he could have been a little more nuanced about the situation.
I think I communicated effectively, wouldn't you?
Well, you could have asked what they want us to do about this. But I guess this is an unexpected situation.
Or the other. You did real good, Bilgy.
Yeah, no,
I'm proud of you.
I really appreciate it.
That was some creative problem solving, and if it weren't for you, we'd still be arguing about whether or not to send Quilpro's freshest bird.
Bilgy is the
Oh yeah,
equivalent of
thank you. I'm glad you're proud of me. I'm old enough to be a grandparent. All right, let's keep moving.
Well,
So
it seems our disappointment legitimately hurt you.
The wind starts to shift suddenly. You guys, luckily it's not entirely at your back because you have to hook around the coast. It starts going northwest northeast rather, while you guys are trying to go southeast. You move about a square's worth of distance.
Yeah.
The other ship is keeping step with you.
Okay, perfect.
After
All right,
skirmishing at noon and taking time to gain your speed again, it's now the early afternoon.
That's fair.
The other ships pursue you for a good 15 minutes, and then a merchant ship goes by, and they stop. And then there's a few more, little fishing boats. You're getting closer to some coastal villages. There's some ferries, and then they're gone. You've lost them.
And the sound of me and the boys fades in the distance.
All right.
Well.
Continuing on, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, how far are we from our destination? Because that seems like a pretty logical spot to meet up and discuss.
Yeah, where's our destination?
We're about halfway there.
Okay. We sail continuously.
I'm not against it. We'd get into port around, midnight.
That's fine.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, just keep sailing. Ordinarily, I feel like if we lost the cops, we could probably just resume whatever bullshit we were doing, but...
We are resuming the bullshit that we're doing.
I'm just...
We're dropping off the package.
No, but I mean... Are the other ships trying to stop us, or, we do have 4 sort of shipwrecked members of the Rookers Guild.
They're okay.
They're okay, but that's a service that Westwatch uses.
So you're midway through conversation. At this point, Tiana's gone up, taken over the wheel just so that, Jane has a chance to give a chance to stretch your legs. She shouts, boom, as you guys turn and the wind shifts. All of the sails, you have to quickly readjust them. And then midway through conversation, the instructor comes in and goes, yeah, that's not the first time that's happened. I think we need to talk to the senator again. They've been doing this more and more ever since that entire fee schedule bullshit.
Fee schedule bullshit? What's that?
And all of the Rookers kind of look at each other and collectively go, ah, and then the guy goes, right, so in the Westwatch in the West March region, effectively, in order to operate, we've got treaties with all the locations because the rookeries are decentralized, and it's all about. Anyways, this is with the organization as a whole, and you know how it is. You know how we work. It cycles back. It goes top, bottom. And they're getting mad because they think of us as a. What'd you say?
I just very wisely and thoughtfully go, politics.
He goes, yeah. And so, effectively, they're getting tired because they don't want a foreign intelligence agency operating on their soil. They want to investigate us. We say, no, we're not that kind of service. You can't compromise the post. And so now, as a compromise, this Lord Ferdinand or something is trying to propose that now the citizens pay a 3-cent fee, their citizens, to us in order to keep running, or we let them investigate. They're trying to make us into assholes.
Mm.
I don't like it.
That's tricky.
It's just been escalating. Nothing but escalating. At first it was just, we don't like you operating in our territory. And around here it's all, some sort of agency that we don't supervise acting on us, and we don't understand. And they start going off, it just escalates from there. They tell us, okay, well, we're going to have to charge our citizens fees, or we're going to have this happen. We call them out on it being hypocritical, but they don't put out that news story. It doesn't come out in any of the press papers.
Mm-hmm.
And now at this point, they've been doing this a few times. They've ambushed us. They've been stealing our packages. They've been shooting us down off the coast when no one's looking, just to try and portray us as a shitty service. They're trying to instigate disruptions.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you could always just leave Westwatch.
That's March.
It's March. I don't do politics. I mean,
I don't think we can. I think if we leave West March, it's the beginning of the end.
Oh,
if we leave West March. Yeah, I mean, well, you know how it is. It's a series of independent rookeries, and everyone's working alongside the same set of guidelines, right? But if we lose this territory and let them take control of it, then they're going to be able to read people's letters when they come and go. This place, they already restrict who's allowed to be here, who's allowed to say what. They put you against the wall and cap you if you're too politically active in the wrong direction. I mean, we can't let them control the mail. We can't let them read what people are saying to each other.
Yeah, that's
true.
This
is a real noble sort of pursuit as opposed to a financial one.
No, I don't know. The conversation kind of peters off, and you guys make a little bit more headway on the map again. By now, it's getting closer to the late afternoon. The sun's getting low, and you haven't seen anything in a while. Warbles hasn't been acting up. You move a square and a half down the coast.
Sort of like that?
Yep, about there. By now, you've gone up and down this coast a number of times. You guys are a general service vessel. You go up here all the time. You've gone around the hook. It shouldn't be long. You should be there, maybe past nightfall, but not in the dead of night. You're going to get there while there's still, quartermasters taking ships.
Perfect.
Yeah, no, that sounds absolutely splendid.
Anyways, so the interview didn't go as planned, but you pulled through in the way that the interview is supposed to prove that you pull through. So we'll get in contact with you once we're in town. We'll set up some things, get you carrying things. Sorry,
Awesome.
I got to apologize. That wasn't supposed to get, rescue mission-y around the end there.
No, sometimes that's just sort of, part of the world, is part of business.
Sometimes things just go to shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I sell cannons for a living. I can't pretend to be a pacifist.
The wind starts to move against you. You guys start to joke about, like, well, you're the pacifist. You want to surrender. You were the one who wanted to surrender you. The wind goes tight. You hit a sweet spot where your sails kind of just have worn in nice against the wind, and you get in close. It's sort of the later half of dinner by the time you get into Westwatch, or not Westwatch, White Abbey, rather. It's a big city with these big limestone walls made from the same stone as the cliff nearby, and you can see these big hulking abbeys, what the city's named after in the area. There's a strong architectural church presence in this town, but in recent years it's dwindled and dwindled and dwindled.
I know this place
now,
very well.
Now these are big, sad edifices covered in pigeon shit, for all it's worth. You come in, you see sort of drunkards walking up and down the docks, and even at the same time you see like people walking their dogs glaring at the drunkards at the end of the docks. You're waved in, you move into a port, they tell you no, you move a little bit further, they tell you no, you move past 2 ships and then get into another one and they start reeling you in, they help tie you down. You're sitting there, Rutger and Bilgi go below decks getting ready for the whole thing, and then you just see the, what was I going to say? Your interviewer go up and just hold up a port pass, the guy nods and he walks away.
Nice.
You're now docked.
Well,
welcome to White Abbey.
I gotta go clean off the apparatus to make sure she is happy. And that's me using my routine.
We didn't really use any of the cannonballs.
Use 4 of them.
Use 4 of them.
All
We got
right.
lots of cannonballs.
And using traditional bullshit in your rogue inventory from D&D rules, I'll let you in your infinite creativity think of what to do with those paint rounds as you will. I'm sure there's some sort of use you can find for them.
We should paint a ship.
Paint eyes on the front of the ship.
To amaze.
I mean, it's not exactly waterproof paint, as proof by the other ship's rudder.
No, it's almost specifically designed to be the opposite.
Yeah.
Paint the mast.
Will, before anyone heads into the city, I want to put a rune on my coin purse. This is something I do whenever I enter the city. Essentially, since I can't see someone pickpocketing me, extra defense on top of me feeling it is putting a rune on my coin purse that whenever someone other than me touches my coin purse, they get a little bit of an elemental electric shock.
Nice.
All right. So you make your way down as you guys are docking, getting things ready. You hear Sun sort of move past, and Kennedy follows as the 2 of them go and maintain the machine. You ruffle through your things, you make sure everything's tied tight, tuck your coin purse after putting the rune in, you tuck it on the inside of your belt. Paranoid as all hell, heavy clothes wrapped up, and you're ready to roll. Well, Jane, what are you doing?
I don't know. Maybe fix up whatever needs fixing up on the ship, and then maybe go get some supplies or see what jobs are in the city as we're trying to figure out the next job that we're doing. What's going on with that?
All right. So the Rookers all make their way off the ship. You guys are bird free. Rooker and Bilgi both stay below a little ways, and then in their polymorph forms, you see Rooker, the same thing. He's got 2 arms that are in his human form, just in pockets where they can't do any harm. And he's kind of... It's a weird kind of thing. The thing that you see in a Canadian winter, like holding onto a dog leash from inside a pocket, that's what he does. And Bilgi's at the end of the leash. They both wander off. They're just going to, go up and down, stretch their legs, take a look around. Tiana goes to sort of plonk at the end of the ship, seeing if anybody's, keeping watch at the end of the gangplank, if anybody's coming there. And I think that's everybody. So, Jane, you're just kind of sitting there swabbing up and down the deck, getting every last little bit of grime. It's late at night. There's still some activity, taverns, like cookhouses, that kind of thing. But before too long, Rooker and Bilgi come back and things really start to settle down.
Yeah, it might be time for bed.
Got a big day of, I guess, rooking? Is that what they call it?
I don't know. They said that they would contact us, so figure out what it is that we're doing next.
Crowquill kind of comes up at that and is just like, wait, so we're not leaving the ship?
Can if you want to.
If you want to.
I mean,
I have nothing necessarily to do in town. I was just gonna, go and walk and not be jostled by waves.
You can do that if you want.
yeah, just don't get too used to it. Don't let your stomach settle too much.
You know what? That sounds like a good idea. I'm gonna go for a walk.
Alrighty.
But I am going to sort of... You know what? No, I'm just going to go for a walk. I was going to do something else, but I've already used my Omen Watcher for this time, so I'm not going to.
All right, you kind of like feel out with your feet. You get to the bottom of the gangplank, and then you hit the end of the pier. You kind of shuffle a little bit, and then pick a direction, and then you feel a tap on your shoulders. Tiana kind of stops you as you're heading the wrong end of the pier.
All right.
Nice.
Warbles, you're supposed to direct me the other way.
Warbles kind of starts like shuffling at the pocket that you usually keep seeds in that you've now got, like, I won't say zippered because that's not super period appropriate, but tightly and securely buttoned shut, trying to get at the seeds.
Warbles, when we get to the end of the dock.
Warbles seems completely unaffected and deeply distracted.
Warbles? He's gonna go up and sort of like pat on head Warbles, end of the dock.
It's what finally is what it takes to get Warbles jostle, and he kind of goes, ah! And then does like a tap the other end of the dock, cause, and then like just kind of taps the other direction and then flies back onto your shoulder a little bit.
Okay, I'm gonna walk that way, and when I get to the end of the final, actual solid ground part, I'm going to take out some seed.
All right, so you feel sort of like the boards underneath you creak a little while. Warbles kind of like goes from shoulder to shoulder just to kind of keep you a little bit on the right path, taps here and there to make sure you're going the right direction, and then you hit solid ground, you stop, and you unbutton the pocket. Warbles takes a little and is distracted for like a good 30 seconds, and then sort of just... You hear the sound of people. Warbles kind of sees the direction you're angling and kind of taps forward a little bit.
All right. I'm just gonna go a wandering then. Back to some old haunts, probably.
So you hear yourself going down a not too busy street. You hear yourself pass a corner where Warbles knows you don't like the busy streets, and you're still kind of a little off in the distance from other people. You think you're near a tavern, and Warbles kind of just caws at you. You hear people drinking, the clinking of glasses, that kind of thing.
Is it a lot of clinking of glasses?
Sounds a little dead.
Okay, I'll go in.
All right, you just awkwardly pace a little bit. Warbles like scuffs around. You hear Warbles kind of like tap on the window a little bit, and then like a couple of patrons kind of drunkenly laughing to each other move past a door, and you know where it is. You walk towards it, you grab it, you head in. Warbles kind of like swings a little bit. You can hear people bustling and moving past. it's a little crowded in here.
Warbles, any empty seats?
Warbles doesn't
Close
seem to
by.
be really at that level of cognition.
Yeah, okay. And that I'm just going to... There's got to be someone around I can ask. You know what? I'll just go up to the nearest table and just be like, where's the nearest seat?
You hear a brief pause. You're used to this. They're bemused, and then they look, and then they get it, and then they go, "Oh, just," and they kind of like clatter around a chair at a nearby table.
Thank you. I'm going to just sit there and just kind of listen in, maybe grab like one beer, and then go from there. I'm not big on drinking. Because inhibitions when you can't see and you have to rely on a bird to communicate with you, or like even just like dizziness or anything like that, I wouldn't want to deal with it.
You don't
Right,
have
so
to worry about driving.
True.
So you're sat down at a tavern seat. And you're just kind of waiting. You can hear people clinking. The bar's off in a distance, and there's some people ordering things. Nobody comes by in a little bit, and then eventually you hear a few like heavier steps coming in, and then you hear a heavier voice kind of go, "Waiting for someone? Is there a problem?"
No. Just rough day. Relaxing.
Keeping an eye on you. You now recognize the kind of tone of a bouncer, and then the bouncer walks back off towards the door.
Yeah, most people do.
You still hear people at the bar. Nobody's come by to the table.
Yep. Don't really expect. I'm just listening in, seeing what conversations I can pick up, just idle chatter, just kind of taking in the scene, basically.
You hear some things. There's people talking here and there. There's a few conversations you can tune in on. You get snippets. I'm gonna cut off for a little bit there and go back to the ship. So some time passes. You've cleaned the machine. You've got some of the gunk out. It doesn't take long to actually get it up to snuff. But Kennedy is obviously like kind of enthralled in making sure the gears are all perfect. He's going to be there probably for a few hours. You're good though.
I'm right there at his back. I was just doing some crafting, still working on those impact slugs. 1 gold for 20, and I'm about halfway done.
All right, so you've got a number of them prepped. You're doing it kind of in a batch way where they're not all going to be done until like the final thing's done, but it's like you've got the actual like the shells are all ready. Like you're going to measure out the powder when you go to compact them. You've been carving down the slugs and everything. You've got a good bit of work. Up above decks, Jane, you kind of just put the mop back. Deck's as clean as it's going to get. Everything else is good. Guess that's work.
Okay, cool. Going to bed then, I guess, because it's late and we get up at dawn every day.
I mean, maybe
All
you
right.
get up every day.
You also get up at dawn every day.
Yeah, I don't whine about it.
I wasn't whining about it.
I whine about it.
So I'll say that based on the configuration of the ship, at this point you guys are kind of just chit-chatting. Jane, you're like getting ready for bed. You're like lazed up in a hammock, and then nearby through a thin enough door that you can communicate, especially through like the visibility slit, like you're working on the shells just on the other side of a thin wall. Meanwhile, in the tavern, you're listening and you've picked up enough pieces of conversations that you can kind of hear a few. What are you listening for? Is there anything juicy you tend to look for? Is there anything that tends to grab you?
I tend to look for local gossip. It's a force of habit to sort of listen in on things that people would be worrying about. so stuff like that, where it's just like typically like broad city worries, like, oh man, the guards have been, you know, really out in force lately and stuff like that. Just kind of stuff that if I were to give someone like a palm reading or a fortune telling, I can sort of just bullshit it if I need to.
All right, so you're listening kind of for like personal details, local news. You're listening to kind of more grounded conversations.
Yeah.
There's a couple of like drunk, like middle-aged people talking nearby, going like, "You believe it? 3 coppers, they're saying, for a large box. Everything's in a large box. Of course, it's just one for a letter. You never send a letter. Nobody sends a letter. You're sending boxes. You kidding? And we pay every year. We pay them. But for what? If we're going to be paying an extra, like what? They can't afford to run themselves? You know where this conversation's going. You fade out. You hear some other people talking. You go like, I don't know if it's even good for this stuff anyways. You know, all those people going over the border, just hopping on a ship, shopping in a new farm market like it's nothing. What's the point in having all these walls? People are just going to vacation and go across the bay. And you fade a little bit, and you're kind of listening for something else, and you hear the bartender come back and goes, "Look, are you going to order something?"
I'll take a beer.
Yeah, very funny. You got to go to the bar.
You do not want me walking through here.
Look, what do you like? And he realizes what he's saying as he says it. Goes like, "Fuck, I'm sorry. Let me." And he just shuffles off without saying anything else. A little while later, there's a slightly put upon sounding innkeeper who comes out and goes, "Hi, sorry for the wait. Can I get you anything?"
No, I'm good. Just because the bartender did it, right? Like, I'm assuming the bartender went to go and grab something. So it's just like, other than that, I'm fine. I'm good to pay the bartender. That was the bouncer that went up to get someone's attention. Okay, then you said bartender, and
my mistake.
Okay. So yeah, it's just like, I'll just take a beer.
Sure, that'll be 2 coppers.
I'll give 3, and then just be like, for bar convenience.
Before too long, you hear snippet, snippet. You get your beer, and as you start sipping, you hear snippet, snippet. Then you hear a little bit of like, yeah, either way, you know, I don't understand why we're letting them in here. I think it's all dark magic anyways. Weird bird people with the masks. It could be anyone. You know, I heard that that's what happens with missing persons. They stick a mask on them, someone in an office somewhere cozy, whose dark magic takes them over. They just start walking around like it's nothing else. But that's what's happening. And at this point, you're like, it's not your usual cup of tea, but it's some Alex Jones shit, so you're listening in.
Oh yeah, I would listen in hardcore to that. That's a future job right there. I need to be worried about that.
And the guy goes like, I mean, come on, that's kind of something. But I think that's messed up, but I do think there's something, and then you hear them kind of in the way where you can tell like nose tapping, like at the same time jinxing, like something going on. And the other conversationalist comes in and goes like, yeah, no, I think that's what it is anyways. I mean, it doesn't explain it, right? We pass all these laws, everything's good here, but then things just start tanking. I think they're infiltrating the government. I think that's what it is. They take people over from the shadows. And then there's a din of conversation, and you kind of curse to yourself because you can't hear them over a more loud couple nearby that's just talking about what's on the menu.
Whoa,
Can you believe that the beef is $6.99? I swear, Darla, I've had a better steak at fucking your mom's house.
God. That fucking, yeah, I have a drink here for Alex. The guy takes it.
Can I just get some more breadsticks? Yeah, we'll get some more breadsticks.
Guys, I need ketchup. I didn't get any ketchup. Somebody give me some ketchup. Mom, Dad.
Sitting there holding like four drinks on the platter, holding a Coke. So who had the? No, that's what I think. Yeah, is I think maybe the steak's a little. Who had the Coke? The steak's a little overpriced. You get to the bottom of your beer, and a few people have left, and you think you've got all the bar is going to give you.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna walk back after that. I've had my time off the ship.
All right, you kind of just mumble something to Warbles. Warbles kind of just nozzles against you. You're understood. You've heard people coming and going, so like spatially, you know where the door is. You get through it. Warbles kind of nudges you, taps against the ground, and leads you back to the ship. Tiana kind of goes, "Hey, Crowquill." And then you make your way back up the pier, and nervously up the gangplank, and then down the hold and into the hammock.
I wonder if you've ever fallen off the gangplank.
It's definitely happened at least once, thanks to Warbles.
I keep. I mean, you know, like a lot of people just use like a walking stick or a cane of some sort.
Do you have a walking stick or a cane?
The funny thing is, I was going to invest in a wizard staff at character creation, and then I don't know why I didn't, because like I was going to be like, wizard staff, that's literally just a walking stick. But I think there was some conversation where Will's just like, yeah, wizard staff requires, you know, like hand dexterity that you don't really have. Like a wand, you can't really use that either because you're not really the best at aiming things. And then I was just like, yeah, I don't really need any of that stuff. And then I was just like, oh yeah, I should get one of those now.
Well, yeah, you should have like a stick.
Like, so the bog, technologically speaking, the bog standard would be kind of an older school, like a quarterstaff, kind of over your shoulder. You hold on to it, you tap ahead of you. Like a white cane is the sort of thing that people would be. It would be more advanced, the sort of thing that someone like Ken and Ye could put together, an actual telescoping like tappy thing.
Like I figured it was basically going to be either a wizard staff or a quarterstaff, like one of those things that I literally just use as a walking stick.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I do not have one. I do not have one. It is a serious thought for investment on that one.
I imagine it's one of those things where it's a massive pain in the ass when you're on land, but you're on a boat most of the time, where you would just be going mast, side of the ship, mast, side of the ship, other side of the ship, other
Blazing
side
sun.
of the ship. Yeah.
Yeah.
LG, like, fuck, that was my ear.
It's definitely one of those situations where Sun has repeatedly offered, like, you know, I can just go and cut you a stick, or I can make you something. To the point where it's like, okay, like, hey, like I don't
like a parents cleaning your room thing, like.
I'm gonna create backstory here and say that as a kid I had one, but it was like a super makeshift one. Like basically they just picked up a branch and said, "Here, a walking stick."
Yeah.
But it was all like crooked and bent, so I could never really use it properly. So now my character's logic is just, nah, fuck that shit.
Not worth it. I have a crow.
Yeah, I have a
Yeah.
crow.
All right. So the rest of the night passes without event, and dawn comes. You're up earlier than most people. I mean, your sailors bright and early, swabbing the gangplank, securing the ropes, kind of thing. So it's going to be a little while before anyone comes to the ship, so you have a bit of time to kill. But otherwise, if you're just getting breakfast ready,
Jane might go for a walk, early morning walk. You know.
all right. You wander around, you pace up and down the pier around dawn. No one's really awake. There's a couple of people who give you a bit of a look, but you shrug it off. You look dead forward, move past, make it clear you're holding a fucking crossbow.
Yeah.
You stretch your legs, and you get sort of closer to the pier. It's one of those things where you see this person coming because you're going opposite directions, but you get to the pier to greet them before they get there. One of the rookers shows up with a sort of like a softer looking, short human in tweed. Younger guy. The Rooker walks up and just goes, right, I hate to give you the weird assignments right away, but there's a job for you with Senator Franklin, if you're familiar. The guy. So Senator Franklin is. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna ask if I had to roll politics on that, but.
Give me one. This is about as politics gets.
Nice. I got a 10 for politics on Senator Franklin.
So, it's one of those things where you've never heard of this guy in your fucking life, but you know one thing, and that's he's a senator. So after the war about 20 years ago, the issue with having a traditional nobility is that if, like, you have a fascistic death cult, like, march of 300,000 across a continent and lose, like, half of your nobility in honorable death kind of bullshit, you don't have a functioning government anymore. So there's a lot of the old, like, nobility or the lords, they have the inherited titles. And because of the fact that there just weren't people to rule over certain areas to fulfill the political role, but without giving them the dignity of being raised to noble houses, there's a lot of people who are, like, politically active people who were, like, really active in the previous Lord's court who have now been upgraded to, like, senators. And they strictly call them senators because they're not nobles, even though they do the same job.
Okay.
So Senator Franklin, you can even see based on the outfit, is probably one of those people who leans into the sort of stigma in it. Like a very, like, country, provincial, like, tweed jacket with the cardigan with a little cane for walking, but, like, you know, like, made out of a knobbly bit of, like, blackthorn from the countryside. Guy's, like, pretty short, very, like, thin set, maybe about 5'5", kind of, like, tan-haired, extends his hands and goes, "Hi, Lord Franklin."
I take his hand, give it a shake. COVID doesn't exist in Bloodwine universe.
Well, I was still expecting Will to go, like, start rolling some dice and just be like, 5 damage. Just be like, oh, you son of a bitch.
So he goes, right, so I've been working with the workers here with a recent political assignment, and I've been led to understand that you can handle yourselves in a bit of a fight, right?
Yes, I believe so.
All right, we'll have time to talk in a little while. I just need you guys to kind of be my entourage for a seemingly innocuous interaction that should happen a few minutes from now in the market square.
Okay, sure. I go and get my team together, I guess.
All right, who's staying back on the boat?
Who are the non-fighters of our group? Like Ken and Ye. Croquill.
Oh no, Ken and Ye is a fighter.
Ken and Ye is a fighter? Okay.
Ken and Ye is the kind of guy who will beat you to death with his crutch if he has to, kind of guy.
Okay, he's coming then.
He doesn't fight to be fightier than most.
I was going to say, Bilgy and Rook are fighters, but don't want to be in the market square.
Yeah, fair enough.
Well, I'll come along.
Okay.
Bilgy kind of gives you like a cartoonish dog, like, the kind of thing that reminds you that he's a druid maintaining a form and not an actual pet.
It's like, that's the reason why.
Unironically, I have had pets make noise just like that to remind me that they are in fact a druid castrating in the pet.
Me, Ken Ye, Sun, and Tiana.
Yeah, that was about right.
All right. So, Croquill's staying behind. The rest of you guys are there, kind of his entourage. You wander around. It's really innocuous. Like, you're just kind of following a guy around as he's just killing time, taking a look. This guy's amenable. He goes, can I get you anything? Jitter bean, coffee, tea? There's a good bagel place a little ways down.
No thanks.
And actually, a bagel would be pretty nice right about that.
Yeah, it's just sorry, it's the alleys and all that. And he goes past, and then it's away from the market square, and you move towards a bakery that's kind of in, like, it's one of those things where this building has been 6 different kinds of building first. So this is like a bakery that's like the rear kitchen of someone's old apartment. You go in, and sure enough, pretty good bagels.
Mm-hmm.
You're wandering about the market square a little bit more, and then there's another entourage. You see that there's this like brilliant dress, like in a forest green suit. This guy's got like big, fluffy Fabio-like hair and like a thin bronze circlet, almost a crown.
Wait, Will, I think your camera is messing up again. Am I the
It's chicken wings.
Oh, it's beautiful.
The blurring on the face really adds to it.
So let me know if I lose audio, because this is an important moment.
Audio.
So you see this guy, like a really, really, like probably 1,000 gold suit kind of thing. Forest green, little embroidery, little buttons. He's got a thin bronze circlet, big long Fabio hair, and like nominally thick, but a very small in coiffing mustache, if that makes sense. Very prim, very proper, sort of tall figure. There's a bunch of people around him, similarly just wearing like, all with like some degree of green, and all with like, like a little badge with Westmarked colors, like in very fine clothes. They all have very similar like hair slicked back, almost like they're in a fucking Power Ranger team, like they're all designed to match. One of them goes, "Lord Ferdinand of Northwest Watch." And the guy goes in, and he looks direct. He doesn't even look at you for a moment. He just goes, "Oh, Senator Franklin, I understand you've got a piece of legislation you're proposing later." Senator Franklin just kind of nods and goes, "Yep." "And who are these wonderful little... Are they friends of yours from I don't know. Oh, right.
My name's Sun, a Blazing Sun. I specialize in munitions, cannons. Want something dead, I got the bullet that'll do it. This here is Dino. I don't know if it's a real name or not, but
Son?
This
isn't about you.
No, he asked who we were. I'm giving an explanation. Important to stay informed in today's society.
And the guy has the most condescending fucking smile, and he goes, "Mercenaries? Ah, nice to see that's what you've got in your cabinet. Well," and he extends a hand. It's in a very conscious, like, body language way where he's offering a hand to Blazing Sun and no one else, and you better not hold it too long, kind of thing. He extends a hand and goes, "Pleased to meet you."
I give him just a hearty handshake.
Let's be sociopathic about this. He goes in for the handshake, and you make contact. It's firm. His hands are soft, but his grip is like iron, like someone who knows you have to shake a hand. How do you respond?
I give him a hearty pump, like that single, and then...
like a craftsman's, "This is what I use to get a jar off" kind of thing.
Exactly. The sort of, when it says to use sandpaper, I just kind of rub my palm along it. Sort of handshake.
And how many pumps?
A single pump. Just
Really?
one.
You're a single pump. Okay.
An up and down.
Typically
So
go for the
it's-
2-pump.
There's almost a politics. You go and you give the hard pump, and in the heft of the pump, there's a resistance. As you can see, he wanted to do the 3, and you win the handshake. And It's too bad this is not a particularly visual medium, because if it was, this would be a costume change for someone you've met prior. Son, you take 5 damage. Not that you would realize.
Beans. You know.
We'll catch you next week.
Damn it, Will, we were supposed to not do life drinkers.
They're just tangential. Just Easter eggs.
You just feel a little bit shittier after that handshake. You're not quite sure why.
I love Without Contact. It's just a really shitty I don't know what it was about that dude, but his handshake was all kinds of fucked up.
Just, God, I feel kind of worse after it.
Yeah.
I hate those fucking handshakes. You have trade shows and interviews and meeting people at school or at like a job fair. Those political fucking handshakes. Can't we all just agree mid-firm 1, 2, 3 and we're good? Like, I feel like nobody can shake a hand the same way.
See, I disagree with that hand. The 3 pumps is too much. You need 2. 1 is just boop, boop, and you're good. Because 1 is like 1 leads to sloppiness. That's a sloppy handshake right there. That's too quick.
I feel like it's 1, 2, hold. You know, like you go
1,
hand,
2.
1,
you can add a slight pause and like
it attenuates. Like it's 1, 2, 3.
Now hear me out here. I think that if you're a big burly manly man, a handshake is a little bit like sucking a dick. Where you want to pretend like you don't want to, this is the last thing you want to do, but if you have to, by God, you're going to do it right. But not longer than you have to. So it's firm grasp, single pump, and you're out. You know?
No,
if you do 3 pumps or even 2, it's like you're enjoying it too much.
No, single pump is you go in, and it's like, yes.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, that's an aggressive handshake.
Exactly. And then it's because if you do 1, 2, 3, it's like, okay, you're a lot of man. You wanted physical contact here. But if you ignore the handshake, it's like, what, you're not man enough to do it?
If you're doing the 1, 2, 3, I feel like that's a friendly handshake. And a 1, 2 hold, like a 1, 2, is more of like a formal handshake.
Yeah.
I think that it's a class thing. Like, if you're shaking hands with a carpenter, it's that smack, ha, and then however many, like, inherent rumbles are left in the initial collision. Whereas, like, if you're meeting, like, a business person, then it's that formal connect, firm, 1, 2, 3 kind of thing, you know?
Now, here's what I think we should do. If you're going to be touching hands, might as well just drag him in for the hug, you know? Might as well, like, hey, we're all getting the virus.
You're all going in the wrong... You're all going in the wrong
like,
direction.
We can't hug, we can't shake hands. Is this just a fantasy?
Yeah.
Because of COVID?
Yeah.
You're all going
we're going the wrong direction with this.
Your pumps are going like this. No. They gotta do the saw.
I like that.
I just cringed. I cringed so hard.
I knew it would hurt you,
that's
Will.
Wonderful. That's wonderful because if one of you has to go forward, one of you has to go back. So if you both are back pullers, you're gonna bonk shoulder or bonk heads.
Okay.
But can you imagine the homophobic straight guy logic of being like, well, I have to be the thruster, I can't be the thrusted.
Exactly. It's one of those things. I have to be the one to pull because that means that he's coming to me and that's stronger. That's even more of a business deal handshake because it's just like, I have the power here and I'm letting you go that way.
Yeah, like the business handshake is who's the alpha, who's the top dog, right? I feel like a working man's handshake is like, this is how well I can saw a piece of wood. Like, it's that kind of communication level.
I think, I honestly think we should just move on to fist bumps. It's superior in every way. Instantaneous, low contact. You're not going to spread no diseases.
And you don't have to worry about anything.
It's hard to win a fist bump without just actively looking like a dick in front of everyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
we all know
I think you can find us at twitch.tv/Mr. Croton or youtube.com/Mr. Croton. We're switching things up. We're going to be back on the later half of 7 on Wednesdays, which is, it started as a joke, but I feel like we're more and more before stream, we're meeting actually before 7 than just shooting the shit for like an hour until it's like the last possible moment.
Yeah.
I guess we could start closer to 7, but I don't know. We found a good rhythm. Later half of 7 on Wednesdays now.
We're not messing with it. It's later half of 7.
There's a playable rule set for this game at bloodwine.fandom.com. And we should be starting Lonesome Road, the last of the DLCs we'll be doing for New Vegas, unless we're feeling extra spicy and want to keep Vegasing things up.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
We'll see.
We'll see. So, yeah.
Any other stuff coming up on the channel?
I think I might play some VR stuff on Friday. I don't know. I might. I might be playing Half-Life Alyx on Friday because I have it. I want to do it. I want to try it.
You've got Will to play a whole bunch of the hot dogs, horseshoes, and hand grenades.
Yes, Will did the big shoots.
It's so much more satisfying to be bad at gun but have to load it than to like just click and shoot. It's so much more satisfying to be like, and then you're like, bang, 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 and you're like, yeah, no matter how shitty your aim is.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, you're sitting like in an FPS, popping someone in the middle of the skull, and you're like, I could have been 2 pixels closer. It's not the same.
The fun thing was watching Will's first run, where he got all of his guns set up, and then he saw a hot dog, and he pulled out his gun, and he had both the safety on and no round in the chamber.
Yep.
We clicked at it repeatedly and then exploded. It was very fun. It was like, see? That's what every gamer bro would do if you put a gun in their pants and said zombies. Like, it's very
like,
I highly recommend.
I feel like the iconic moment for like every gamer bro actually trying to fight zombies is not necessarily the inability to fire the gun. It's realizing while you're pointing it at an incoming zombie, going, wait, where's the safety? And then getting eaten.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like it's completely different from shooting is operating a handgun, and it is a legitimately fun thing to get good at. Is being like, okay, you know, how many
hot guns?
Yeah, like hot guns, hot guns, horseshoes, and hand grenades. That's the thing. It's like it's not a shooter. It's a firearm operation game, and that's so much more fun.
It is. It really is. Like the only downside to the game is just how little documentation there's on how to use all these things, and that's almost part of the game. Is like, oh, this gun has a fire mode selector. Holy shit!
I imagine that's got to be difficult too, because it's like the game is a mix of like, well, this is a recreation of a real gun. Oh, well, this is an extremely niche weapon from World War II. Oh, this is the gun from Blade Runner with the heat sink in it.
Yeah.
Which is, God, that's fucking cool shit. Anyways, it's been nice.
Thank you everyone for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.